All right, welcome back to the second segment of the discussion segment of the Good Morning Anambra right on ABS television. As you know, my name is Obinna, right? You need to know, very important that you know, all right? So, the second segment of the Good Morning Anambra, we'll be talking about the Anambra Youth Christmas Carol 2025, going to be sponsored by the National Youth Council of Nigeria, with the chairmanship of Godwin Ugokoye. He's currently the acting chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Anambra State Chapter, amidst lots of controversies, but it's not a bone of contention this morning. Major concern is, the activities surrounding the Anambra Youth Christmas Carol of, 2025. Good morning, One.
Good morning.
Now I'm a youth, so I should be. When I say this, I should actually take a bath.
No,
because if I talk anyhow, I go. This goes up. All right. So first of all, before we begin to talk about the Anambra Youth Christmas Carol 2025, we just want to make little clarity. Ask some questions around your position. There've been a lot of talks about a lot of questions about the legality of your position, how you came in, how the former chairman was actually, will I say, ousted, but so a lot of talks about that. Can you make clarifications on that?
Okay, basically, the National Youth Council of Nigeria, which you all know as the apex youth body of the youth in Nigeria, led by Ambassador Sekubo Saraibu Sekubo. After the Congress in Bayelsa on the 21st of September. So the Congress, which is actually the most strongest body in the council, had a resolution on some of the states that actually are contravening the Constitution as 2018 as amended 2025. So they actually sacked the former state chairman, the president of Surveyor Mekobi. So it's actually a thing of the NEC, National Executive Council, that was carried out in the Congress. So, there is no space for vacuum. So a lot of consultations was carried out in the state. A lot of stakeholders from the Youth Council was consulted. So I was actually filled in as the acting state chairman.
Some say it was actually due to the fact that Surveyor Mekobi was seemed to be against some irregularities, especially at the national level, where there were talks about increasing the age of the membership of the National Youth Council. Currently, it's I think 18 to 35 years, and now the National Council wanted it to increase to about 45 years.
Okay.
And these are some of the things he was trying to fight, and lots of things about that.
Okay, the point is that you cannot fight a process you are part of.
Okay.
The ratification of the Constitution and the extension of age limits for elective positions in the council was part of what he himself, Emekobi, assigned to. It was part of the process. So him saying that he was against it, no, that's truly false. It was part of the process that amended that constitution that brought in the current national president. So the NEC are duly constituted and backed up by the constitution of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. So whatever they are doing is within the confines of the constitution.
There were still talks about, still irregularities. When we talk about irregularities, it cannot be one or two. It cannot be one. It can be two or more. Or more things. At the moment, I'm trying to remember the question I was going to ask you. But let's look at your plans currently for the youth of Anambra State. What are you looking to do? What are your, let's start from your short-term plans and probably later your long-term plans.
Okay, all the plans we have are the current state executive of the National Youth Council of Nigeria in Anambra State is in line with the plans of the Mr. Governor, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo. As we all know, youth leaders in the states, in all the youth organizations, you know, are meant to collaborate with the visions and plans of the governor, you know, in order to help, you know, solve the issues affecting the youth in the state. So my plans are not out of place. They are still within the vision and plans of the Mr. Governor. Just like we all know, Mr. Governor is a man that have serious plans in empowerment, in also in changing the values of the youth. We all know about what happened since last 2 years when he's trying to change the mindset of the youth, you know, trying to ensure they have good morals, good ideals, you know, go back to the normal Igbo system that respects hard work, humility, you know, and respect for elders. And all those things, you know, are what we think, okay, this particular program that we have right now, that is the Anambra Christmas Youth Carol, to ensure that the young people instill godly morals. We have godly morals in them.
So it's going to be an avenue for the young people to be sensitized, basically.
Definitely. You know something about bringing back, instilling back the godly morals in young people, telling them hard work pays, you know, godly values pays. Like part of the program, we're having Bible quiz competition. We're also having Christmas Carol of 9 lessons. As you all know, the Carol of 9 lessons also teaches you from the fall of humanity down to the birth of Jesus Christ. Some of all those lessons will be taught, and this particular program encompasses all the 21 local government, the youth from the 21 local government in the state. So all the local government leaders will be bringing in their young people, you know, for the quiz competition and for the Bible quiz competition. And currently, trainings and preparations are ongoing and in top gear. So on the 20th at Dora Akunyele Event Center, we'll be hosting the whole local government in that competition. So going back to the plans is still in line with the plan of Mr. Governor and the National Youth Council of Nigeria, led by my humble self as the acting state chairman. We are here to ensure that we support Mr. Governor in whatever he is doing for the youth. We all know about the one youth, 2 skills, skill acquisition, and a lot of programs the young people is putting into positions of power. So we are here to support him. And one of the ways to start is by reorienting the youths, you know, bringing them back good values and good morals to them so that they can know the way forward in the state.
All right. You know, before we ask this question, I told you I want to go back to some of the issues that we are still, that are still pondering around your position as the chairman, the chairman of the National Youth Council in Anambra State. There were also talks of tenure attempts to increase the tenure of both the national executive and the state executives around, and that was one of the reasons Surveyor Emeka Obi actually did fight against this, and probably one of the reasons why the national had to find a way to, though within the confines of the law, find a way to actually push him out.
Okay, the tenure elongation is a thing of the Constitution. So it's not about someone fighting. You can't fight the Constitution. The Constitution is supreme. It's just, everybody must abide to the provisions of the Constitution. To him, it's a personal thing to him. So, but you don't lead with emotions, you lead with what is on ground, what is on paper. So, if he is fighting tenure elongation, he should go and amend the Constitution for himself to appeal to what he wants. That's where the issue in politics, that lobbying comes into place. If you have interest in something, you go and lobby for it. So this is a thing of the National Executive Council, and they have made a decision in line with what the provisions of the Constitution. So whatever he is doing right now is anti-what the Constitution. So that's why they also use the Constitution to oust him out of the office, because he keep on contravening the provisions of the Constitution, you know, and a whole lot of illegality that surrounds his this thing. So I don't want to dwell on him. I want to dwell on what we have for Anambra State now. So that's what important to me now, because we have moved forward. Anambra youths have moved forward. So, and they are all interested in the programs we are bringing on ground. this December by January and February. So it's all about programs for Anambra youths. So we're not interested in the past.
All right, it's really very important. So your plan is to actually bring stability to the youth in Anambra State. Really very important. So what would be your your immediate plan to restore stability and public confidence in the National Youth Council Anambra State chapter?
Okay, currently there have been a lot of consultations that have been going on. I think the last 2 weeks we held a very elaborate, stakeholders meeting, where the stakeholders of the youths of Anambra, support whatever is going on right now. They are actually in line with the provisions of the National Executive Council, and they are actually backing the current leadership of the council in the state. So what they are interested right now, and the stakeholders and the youth of Anambra is interested right now, is the way forward. How we're going to chart the way forward for the youth of Anambra, what they're going to benefit, programs and activities that will actually usher in new visions and new plans for the state. And that's what we are doing now. So we are not actually distracted. We are focused in what we're doing. Currently, the Anambra youths are actually preparing, the whole 21 local government, actually preparing for this program. So we are focused. We don't want to be distracted in whatever we're doing. So that by January, we'll also kickstart other programs. Multinational companies are coming in, trying to sponsor or get some programs for us. So we're actually focused in bringing things that will benefit the use of Anambra, and in line with the vision of our governor.
All right. What would you say will be your, top 3 priorities for the youth in Anambra? Looking at the fact that you're looking at, we are bringing a lot of positives, bringing a lot of a whole good things, basically. So what would you say will be your top 3 priorities, going forward?
Okay. First of all, reorientation. Because a sound mind, it's easy for you to pilot a sound mind to greatness. The secondly is education. And the third one is empowerment. So I believe that you cannot actually change someone that have a very poor mindset. So the youth of Anambra needs to be reoriented into what the new Anambra, led by our governor, is all about. They need to understand and key into that program, those programs. We have a lot of programs, so some people are not aware. So we want the youth of Anambra to be reoriented, to understand the vision. I followed carefully what the Vision 2070 for Anambra youth, piloted by Mr. Governor. He was he was a chairman for that particular Vision 2070. And this, you can just see in the last 4 years, he's living that particular vision. So in the second tenure, we also see him doing more things for the young people. So we want them to be aware of the plans of Mr. Governor of turning Anambra into a Dubai Taiwan, and how the youth will benefit from these positive plans. So secondly, we have to focus as an organization, we have to focus on education, because we want to catch this guy the young people, make them to understand the importance of education. Our governor is sound today, doing whatever he's doing, the magic he's doing in Anambra State, because he's actually had a very sound mind. So we want young people to also have that sound mind. Once they're educated, then we'll now move into empowerment.
So there seems to be that intention to collaborate, strongly with the government to achieve a lot of things for young people.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue this discussion. All right, welcome back to this discussion talking about the Anambra State, Youth Christmas Carol, powered by the acting chairman of the National Youth Council of Nigeria, Anambra State chapter. Talking about no other person than Mr. Godwin Ugo Okoye. Well, we've been talking about a whole lot of things, extensively, looking at his, the assumption of his position, also looking at his, vision and the immediate priorities for the young people of Anambra State. Now, let's look at youth representation and accountability. All right. And now many youth in Anambra State feel the NYCN has lost its relevance. how will your leadership, how do you look to, bring relevance back, and not just relevance, but also trust to the NYCN in Anambra State?
Okay, this question is actually interesting, but I would like to take you back to the glory days of the Youth Council. During the days of Sir Dr. Nwabufo Nwankwo, the current permanent secretary, office of the SSG, you can't rate his administration as that administration lost its relevance. During that time, the Youth Council was at its peak, and it was doing very, very well. You can't talk about you can also talk about the tenure of Samuel Ogwatu, who was the immediate past state chairman. He did extremely well. Then I was the coordinator in Njikoko local government. So we started seeing a rundown into the council's activities when the former Osted chairman, Sobe Emekobi, assumed office. As you all know, he was never a member of the council from day one. He has never held any elective position in the youth council. Everybody knows that. So he is not a council person.
So are you trying to say that you're running the NYSCN as, like say, you're running it via a small nucleus of people who may have held positions way back?
You cannot lead an organization if you don't understand the tenets and the provisions of the constitutional organization. He is actually ignorant of the fact of the provisions of the constitution of NYSN. That is why when he assumed office, he was actually flaunting all provisions of the constitution because he wasn't part of a system. And he wasn't ready to learn from the stakeholders. So that was what caused the drastic fall of the Youth Council in Anambra State. But thank God, a lot of things started changing. People started reminding him, even the council, the National Executive Council started reminding him of some of his violations. But due to, I don't know, he couldn't learn his lessons, but the Youth Council. But what I'm trying to let you know right now is the Youth Council will have a very revived new council in Anambra State. So you from this month you start seeing a revived Youth Council. Remember, Youth Council and the National Youth Council is the apex youth body in the states and also in the national. So you start seeing programs upon programs that will be coming that will also reinstate the Youth Council in this notable position.
Let's look at inclusivity. Let's also look at transparency in appointment, funding, and program execution. How are we going to see this, happen within your? Because it's always a problem when you come to the youth, talking about transparency, how are funds being properly used. Then inclusivity, it seems to be like it's being run by a group of people or something like that.
No, as you all know, Youth Council cut across, in Anambra State, cut across the 21 local governments. In the national level, the 36 states, including FCT. So there is no local government in Anambra State. You not get a Youth Council coordinator. We have our coordinators in place. So when you talk about inclusivity, the entire youths of the state are part and parcel of the state executives, and also in the local government level, we also have the coordinators and also the ward executives. So everybody's in line with what we're doing. Everybody's carried along. We also have our elders, our stakeholders are also part and parcel of whatever decision we're doing that make up the executive body of the particular administration. So what I'm trying to let you know is that in terms of inclusivity, everybody's carried along. Then in terms of transparency, also, we have a constituted executive that so everything is being shared. It's not like as if someone is a despot or maybe one man administration. No, that's not the way it's run.
It's going to involve every single person.
But that's why in Youth Council, every youth in Anambra is assumed to be a member of the youth. So
by default.
By default. So, but when you show interest, when you now involving yourself in the activity, that actually you are actually serious. So, but whatever we are doing today is for the youth. Just like, instance, the program we're doing on the 20th, that involves all the choirs from Catholic, Anglican, Pentecostal,
Doesn't matter the
Sabbath,
religion.
no, any,
Just come in and
just come in
show.
their part. So you will see an all-inclusive choir, you know, on the 20th. You know.
So let's also talk about, because they just left here a few minutes back, let's talk about people with disabilities. We have young people, we have you know, a reasonable number of them in Anambra State who are also young. Are you also looking to involve people like this in your government?
Yeah, definitely. There is a place for them, and I have a personal and special position for people with disability, because according to the famous word, I say there is ability in every disability. So people with disability take very special position in our administration and in our leadership. So I call them to be patient, and once we'll fix some of the things, you know, appointments will be rolled out, and they will always
be involved
in with them.
Let's look at your you know, the partnership, the support you will be looking to get from the state government and also the private sector within the state.
Okay, just like you said, by default, the National Youth Council of Nigeria is actually not only the only gazetted youth organization.
Well, there were talks about the CAC, you know, will I say, taking your certificates of registration recently.
Okay.
There were talks about that.
And those issues are still in court. You know, I think there is a hearing today in that line, and all those things will be rectified. Lately, by the end of the month,
okay.
all those things will be rectified.
So what kind of partnership are you seeking to have with the state government and also the private sector?
For the state government, just like I just said, we have a very mutual partnership with them.
So that one is not a problem at all.
No,
it's just natural. It's just there already.
It's there already, and we just have to walk in line. Then for private institutions, multinationals, we are reaching out to them. You know, some of them will be part of this particular program we're doing, and subsequent programs. Yes. By January, we are launching our AI competition for schools. We've started it for some local governments, so we're continuing for the entire local government. So we're bringing in people, we're bringing in the likes of Money Point, we're bringing the likes of Indomie, and most of them, we've written to them, and they are coming.
So it's not just going to be, you know, you just being a leader, but you're looking at bringing lots of impact into for the young people, which is quite very much commendable. All right, let's look at your, you know, how will your leadership ensure that the National Youth Council of Nigeria doesn't return to internal crisis after your term or even during your term?
This administration actually is a unity administration. We're trying to unite all
the
factions.
If there are.
We've actually extended arms of friendship to some of the sacked executives to drop their grievances, and wherever they feel they must have, then just come to join us. And I also extend my friendship to some of the sacked executives to tell them that whatever, they can actually take some other positions, advisory positions in the council, because we don't want to lose any talent, any whatever experience.
It's going to be highly inclusive, bringing everyone.
Highly inclusive,
bringing everyone together.
Meetings upon meetings I've been holding every day, you know, in that regard, and everybody is coming on board.
So with all these, where do you see the National Youth Council of Nigeria in Anambra State in the next 2 years, and also in Anambra State basically, and what is your, you know, collaboration with Sekibo, that's the national chairman? What is it like? In fact, what's the relationship between Anambra State chapter of the NYCN and the National Council? What is it like?
Okay, we have a very cordial relationship, you know, with the national body. No, I don't think Anambra still stands one of the most favorite states in the southeast as far as the National Youth Council is concerned. Remember, we have our deputy national president, the person of Ambassador Innocent Ndwanya, who is a deputy national president at the national level. So you can see how strong position we are in the national. And in the Sekubo-led government, led administration, the National Youth Council of Nigeria takes Anambra to a very high esteem, who are actually involved in whatever programs and activities that is going on at the national level. So we have a very good cordial relationship, and whatever thing that is happening in the national Anambra State is always really, So in terms of where we're seeing the Youth Council in the next 2 years, I want to tell you that the National Youth Council of Nigeria in the next 2 years will be actually revived. We'll start seeing impactful programs for the youths of Anambra coming from the National Youth Council of Nigeria. Just like I just told you, a National Youth Council of Nigeria Anambra State Chapter is just the only organization in the state chapter that is introducing artificial intelligence programs across the secondary schools and universities in Anambra State. So we are doing very big projects and programs for the youth that will impact the youth of Anambra.
All right. Yeah. So quickly, let's talk about your activity, the Christmas Carol slated for the 20th of December 2025. What do you hope to achieve? I know you talked about that earlier on, but on a full scale, but shortly though, what do you intend to achieve by the end of the Christmas Carol on the 20th of December 2025?
So one of the things we want to achieve first is I want to see our young people going back to godly values. Mr. Governor, our governor, Professor Chukwumacha Soludo is quite interested about young people imbibing godly values. So I want them to understand that with godly values they can actually bring in other things that they need to grow as young people. Secondly, we want to unify the young people, especially the religious youths. We're cutting across the Sion, Anglican Youth Fellowship, the Pentecostal, all the young people across all the religious organizations. We want to bring them because the past administration has actually forgotten them. So we want to say, let's bring you guys. You guys are part of the young people.
You shouldn't just sit there and be religious, but you have to also be involved. Like that's the message you're telling. Be involved too.
Yes.
All right. Do not just segregate yourself and all that. Yeah. It's a very impressive one coming from you, Godwin Ugo Okoye, who is the acting chairman, Anambra State Chapter of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. Thank you for coming around.
Thank you so much.
And hope to see you some other time.
Thank
and all
so
that.
Much.
And you guys settle your grievances and all that. So this is much we can give you on today's edition of the discussion segment of the Good Morning Anambra. Of course, at 10 we'll bring you the Igbo news, and later on the Sports Splash, and subsequently other programs that we'll bring to you right here on ABS television. My name is Obina. Do have a very positive day ahead.